you've ever been to Cleveland, chances are you recognize this space. This is Tower City, home to a mall, a food court, and a movie theater. But I bet you didn't know this. Up above us, 12 floors to be exact, is a 10,000 square foot home complete with an ornate staircase and a great hall with vaulted, beamed ceilings. Its original name was the Van Sweringer Suite, named for the two brothers who developed Terminal Tower in the late 1920s. Today it's named the Greenbrier Suite, and it retains many of its original architectural features. In today's edition of Crane's House Calls, we're going inside.
Behind this door here is what we call the Greenbrier Suite. This is approximately a 10,000 square foot home built inside the Terminal Tower, located on the 12th, the 13th, and 14th floor. It was the original location where the Van Sweringer brothers lived and used this space unless they wanted to go back home to Shaker Heights. Well, welcome to the Greenbrier Suite. This is the front entrance leading into the home. We had world leaders in here. We've had dignitaries from all over the country back in the railroad magnate days.
Who stayed here, you might ask? The King of Prussia and former Presidents Herbert Hoover and Harry Truman, to name a few. In case you didn't know, O.P. and M.J. Van Sweringen were the developers of both the Terminal Tower and the city of Shaker Heights. The railroad barons also established a rail line, commonly known as the Rapid, so residents of Shaker Heights could come to town conveniently. One of the more eye-catching original features of the Greenbrier Suite is the hand-painted green room. The wallpaper, which shows a Mongolian hunting scene, was restored around the 1970s. This is the room where the brothers and their guests would have eaten, though originally there was no kitchen. That amenity came only after the brothers lost it all.
They came over with their mother from Poland, and they came into this space. They amassed a huge fortune in the late 30s, and then they made some bad business deals that really affected their lives. They had to sell all of their assets, and they had to sell their assets as what it was reported back then as the biggest sale in history, because they sold millions of dollars worth of assets for pennies on the dollar. The reason that this looks like a rail car is because when the Chesapeake Railroad System bought the building and they modeled this kitchen and they utilized this space for dignitaries also when they brought people in, and they wanted to have food service for their guests. So they put this kitchen together. They took one of their trains, and you feel like you're standing inside of a train.
The suite's other rooms are not steel, but wood. The boardroom, the hallways, those vaulted ceilings I mentioned earlier, those are fashioned from wood harvested from England's Sherwood Forest. Today, Forest City Enterprises, which owns all of Terminal Tower, owns the Greenbrier Suite. The suite's bedrooms have been dismantled over the years and used as other space, and the fireplaces, too, are decommissioned. Forest City has spent tens of thousands of dollars to improve the Greenbrier Suite, including work in this next room.
Yeah, this is the Great Hall. This is a fantastic meeting room. Just imagine back in the day that the gentlemen would have been sitting in here, relaxing, reading newspapers, smoking their cigars and pipes up here, and just enjoying the day or the evening. And above us was the balcony where they would have a quartet or some kind of a musical serenade up there. This room itself is a vaulted ceiling. It again looks like an English Tudor style home. It is just a fake ceiling. There's no roof line above us like that. And as you look around, you think to yourself, where would there be a hiding place or a space that they would have been able to get out of this space in case of an emergency? You come over to the wall and you push on the wall real quick. And there's your space. The wall opens up. And behind this wall passageway, you would have been able to go back this way, come back around to behind the fireplace. And we're not sure, but we think a long time ago, there was a passageway that would have led you over to the hotel, to that side of the building. I have never heard the ghost in the Greenbrier Suite, but I have heard the stories from various people about they're in here in a meeting or if they're in here doing something, and they hear some footsteps, or they hear some creaking, or they hear some abnormal noises that they don't know where it's coming from, and they'll turn around suddenly and there'll be nothing there.
Scott Wright says he's heard the unexplainable. A volunteer for the Division of Wildlife, Mr. Wright spends the most time in the Greenbrier Suite today, snapping photos of the falcons that nest on a window ledge outside.
I've been here all by myself in this space, and I actually heard something or someone descending the steps. You can actually hear the steps creak, and of course there's nobody there.
No one lives in the space currently, and we're not actually looking for renters at the space. This space is actually utilized just as a historical feature to the building. It's not any public tours or anything like that. It's a very unknown space to the building, but it's a very historical piece and fabric to this building because of its nature and its history.
So in other words, you may look at the Greenbrier Suite, but you can't move in.